Good morning, everybody. Okay, we're going to start in a couple of minutes. Make sure that somebody like Paul's on. Make sure he can hear me. Just ask him to come back and tell him that he can. I'm going to start in a few minutes here. Just waiting for a few more people to join, and then we'll get started. You want me to say something? Yeah. You can hear me? Okay, we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody. On a beautiful Friday morning, talk about roof drains today and the several features and benefits we have with our roof drain products. Okay, we're going to review the most common types of roof drains. We're going to highlight the key features and benefits of those products, and then the value proposition to our customer, why the customer would want to use a MyFab roof drain versus others. Let me make the screen a little bit bigger. Okay, here we go. Different types of roof drains that are most common anyway. The R1100, that's the first one. And we're showing that with a side outlet connection. Typically the R1100 is with a vertical or straight up and down connection. A contractor may want to use a side outlet because they're in space and they don't have room for the pipe to go vertically down. They have to get the pipe to go off. Our standard dome is the A1MD, which you see there. It's aluminum. A1 for the A1 body, MD for metal dome. We did have them raw aluminum like you see in that photo there. I believe we're now painting them red to be consistent with the red color of the clamp ring and the body. And the other common dome that we would have with the R1100 would be the A1-PD for plastic dome, which is a black plastic dome. The next roof drain is the R1220. This is not very common. It's known in the industry as a medium sump roof drain, whereas the R1100 is considered a small sump or a general roof drain. But our friends at Jazwares, Josem, Smith, Wade, and Zern, have had a medium sump roof drain for years. So we created the R1220 so that we could have a medium sump as well. Really only because sometimes engineers will specify or have 1220 medium sump and want to use that again, not have a small or large. The other advantage of the medium sump is for contractors that do replacement roofs, typically at this time of the year relative to school construction, that if they have an old Jazwares roof drain in the roof and it's an R1220 or medium sump version, then our R1220 will fit in the hole relative to the height of the body, the dome diameter, and so on. Then we have the R1200, probably the most common roof drain because of the size. So the key thing with roof drains is the free area of the dome, or what is the available area, the open area around the dome strainer to allow water into the roof drain. And the free area on the R1200 around the dome is a lot greater than the free area on the R1100 and greater than the free area of the R1220. That is why most of the roof drains that we sell are the R1200, because the engineers want to have the capacity around the dome to receive the water. Then you get into other kinds of roof drains. The R1300 scupper drain is on the left. That's the new style where the body and the outlet connection are all one part. And then we have the membrane clamp, the L-shaped membrane clamp bolted to the body. Then we have the 45-degree angled grate bolted. These are typically used in parapet situations on a roof where you have you get to the end of the roof and you may have a wall, and this would go into that right angle to receive rainwater, typically in areas where the engineer does not want to see an R1200 or R1100 roof drain in the middle of the roof. They're going to want to pitch the roof to the sides or to the end, and then have all of the water go through the scupper, the R1300 series, which you see on the left. Another type of, it's not really a roof drain, but it's part of the family, is the downspout nozzle, and we show that on the right. Downspout nozzles are connected to the overflow roof drain. Most engineers, when they specify roof drains, will have what they call roof drain, which is the main roof drain to take away water from the roof. And then beside it, there'll be the overflow. The overflow in our lingo would be the R1200-R, which, if you have your green book, the MPB book, would be page 130, the R1200-R, or it could be the R1200-W, page 132. The function of the R1200-R and W is to block water so that water goes into the primary drain that doesn't have that water dam or internal standpipe. We want the primary drain to take the rainwater first and then drain to the sewer. In the event that the primary drain gets blocked because of leaves or debris on the roof, plastic bags and so on, then most engineers will have a secondary overflow drain right beside it. A lot of you, next time you're at a hotel or an airport and you're in an elevated position, maybe on a train going to the terminal from the parking lot, and look down, look at the buildings that go by underneath you, and look at the roof drains. You'll notice there's typically two roof drains side by side. That's because one is the primary, one is the secondary. The secondary is insurance. In the event that the primary roof drain gets blocked, the water will then have to flow down the secondary. But we don't want the water to go into the secondary right off the bat. That's why we have the dams, either the external dam, the R1200-R, or the internal standpipe dam, the R1200-W. When water does go down the secondary roof drain, it doesn't go into the sewer. It typically goes through the downspout, which is what we have here on the right. So whenever you see water coming out of a downspout nozzle, we've seen downspout nozzles or cow's tongues or lamb's tongues, as some people call them, on the outside of buildings. It's because there's an issue. The issue is the primary roof drain is blocked and the water is now going through the secondary roof drain. So that would prompt the maintenance people to get up there and clean the debris around the primary, because we only want water coming out of this downspout nozzle in an emergency. We have a huge rain overwhelming the primary. That shouldn't be the case either, because the primary should be sized to handle a 100-year rainfall. The more likely case is the primary drain is blocked. So the R1100 is the small sump roof drain because it's the A1 body, in this case an A1 side outlet. We have 43 inches of free area in the dome strainer, and that's comparable to our competition at Jazzwaz. It's the A1 body. So as you can see at the bottom, the pictures of our bodies, the same A1 body is our floor drain, our clean out, our small roof drain, the R1100, and your small area mechanical drain. You see that on the left, the F1320. To connect the dome to the body, we need the A1C3 membrane clamp. A1 clamp ring 3 membrane clamp that bolts to the body via the HS1 hardware pack. And then the aluminum dome twists into the A1C3 and positively locks. So it doesn't just sit into the ring. When you place it in the ring and turn it, maybe an inch and a half to the right, there's a sliding guillotine, for lack of a better word, impression on the outside of the dome that will lock into the tabs of the A1C3 membrane clamp. And in our green, in the U.S. it's green, in Canada it's silver, the MPB drainage price book, there's a lot of different versions, and those page numbers are wrong because we have updated the book since then. The correct pages are 120 through to 124 for the R1100 roof drains. Different types with a ballast guard around, extensions, flow controls, area drain tops for promenade decks can all be part of the R1100 roof drain system. The medium sump roof drain, the R1220, a little bit more free area in the dome strainer, 71.5 inches. It's the A5 body. We don't talk much about the A5 body because we only made the A5 body for this R1220 roof drain series, 12-inch diameter body. And we use the same HS1 hardware pack to connect the A5C3 membrane clamp to the body, and then the dome. We only have this dome for the R1220 in cast iron. We don't make it in plastic. It's cast iron only, which would be an advantage because we price it the same as plastic from our competition, but we only provide it the dome in cast iron. And those page numbers will not be correct either. The correct page numbers in the MPB book are pages 134 or 135. The R1200 roof drain, 125 inches of free area in the dome. And you'll see later on that that's one of our advantages. We have more free area than most, if not all, of our competition in our dome strainer, mainly because it's a taller dome. It's a 15-inch diameter. What we mean by that is from flange to flange, it's 15 inches across. And again, we use the same HS1 hardware pack to connect the A2C3 membrane clamp to the body, and then the A2MD dome locks into the tabs of the A2C3 clamp. Some of you, next time you look at the HS1 hardware packs in your warehouse, you'll notice that we made the diameter of the flange, of the top flange of the bolt, a little bit wider. And we did that because we had some people say when we bolt the A2C3 clamp ring to the body, we're not getting that much grip area from the underside of the bolt head pressing down onto the clamp ring, securing that ring to the body. So we made that bolt head flange just a little bit more, just a little greater in diameter to get greater sealing capability. For those that have been around a little bit, have a look at the HS1. You'll see what I mean. And are not correct. The R1200 product in the MPB book starts at page 125 and goes to page 133. So the first feature benefit we have is there's more free area in the dome strainer on the R1200. I'm focusing on the R1200 because it's the most common. That means that why an engineer would care, less chance of debris blocking water draining into the strainer. You know, the worst thing that can happen with a roof drain is they get blocked. There's not enough of them. They're undersized. Consequently, we could have water building up on the roof, and that is what leads to roof drain disasters, where roofs actually collapse because the water is building up on the roof. And here's a good chart to compare the different dome heights. You can see on the left is the MyFab R1200 dome, the A2MD. The main reason why our free area is greater is because of the height. You can see that we're 7.5 inches high versus 4.5 and 4 3/4. And Joe, Sam, and Wade would be comparable to the Zurn Smith height dimensions, and you can see our free area is a little bit more, 25%, well, 25 to 30% more. So I always highlight this to an engineer, and I always get a really good reaction to that you know, they appreciate having that extra free area in the event that something is blown around and blocking the slots in that dome. The other thing we've learned, ASPE has recently done some testing on flow rates through roof drains, and they gave us the results. We submitted all of MyFab's roof drains, and they tested them. They gave us the results. They wouldn't give us the names of our competition and their results, but they did give us a graph, and we could, our color was, say, red, and there were other colors representing the other roof drain companies, the Jazwares companies. Our flow performance was better than most, and the reason we believe that's the case is because the width, the area between the slots. You'll notice that when you look at the other two, the area between each of the ribs, the vertical ribs in the roof dome, the slots, is wider. So that provides more area for water to come in, greater flow capability. Another advantage is we have a narrower and deeper sump design. Jazwares they typically all have the same body design, 15-inch diameter, but it's a shallow sump, and the sump is shallower but extends almost to the 15-inch diameter area. The A2 body has a 15-inch flange, but the sump diameter is something like 10.5 inches. So why somebody would care is when you're up on the roof, cutting holes in the roof, you don't need to cut as big of a hole to fit the MyFab R1200 roof drain versus the Z100 or the Smith 1010 because our sump diameter is narrower. The other benefit of that, having a narrower sump, is the flow characteristics are better. Why? Because we have more vertical space. As water builds up in the sump of our roof drain, you're getting gravity and pressure, pushing that water down. If we have a sump that is greater in diameter, so if it's, say, 14 or 13 inches versus 10.5, but shallower, then it's going to take longer for that water to drain. Having a narrower, taller tube versus a shallower, wider tube, water will drain faster through the former. And okay, so here, this is a better way to see this. So there's your typical Zurn. That's a Z100. Would be the same concept with any Jazwares roof drain body. Water has to travel more distance around the wide sump before draining. And here's a good picture of ours. You can see that, the flange, if I put a tape across the flange of ours versus theirs, the top flange, it's the same. It's 15 inches. But then you can see how our sump is narrower underneath the flange, approximately 10.5 inches. Whereas the Zurn one, the sump is wider but shallower. So we're getting greater head pressure with the MyFab sump, resulting in faster drainage, and we have greater cubic inch capacity. So the actual area within the sump of our roof drain is greater than Jazawaz. Something that a contractor probably doesn't care too much about unless he's a design build contractor, but certainly something to highlight to plumbing engineers as a reason why they should include MyFab in their specifications. This is a really good detail. It's in your MPB book. It's on page number 108, and there's a lot of copy on the left-hand side of page 108 of your MPB book. I highly recommend you read this. Very, very informative. It explains the different parts of roof drains, how they're used, and the advantages that we have. So one feature is that we have combined the A2C3 part to do many things, and that's a common theme with MyFab. We're a very modular system. The A2C3 part is our dome receiver. So if we're looking at the blowout detail on the PowerPoint on the left, you have the dome at the very top. Underneath that is a flat ring. That's the A2C3. That A2C3 bolts to the A2 body. The dome goes into the A2C3. Then we have the A2 body. Then we have the A2 BP sump receiver. Underneath that, we have two more rings. That is A2C3 parts as well. So we have the underdeck clamp and the extension ring and the dome receiving ring all the same part. Jazawaz has a two-piece underdeck clamp, a different dome receiving ring, a different extension part. So they have three different SKUs, whereas we just have the one. Fewer parts. That's page 108 now, not 72. Here's another one. We use the A2C3 as an extension ring rather than the way Jazawaz does it, which is with a threaded extension. And I think we have a nice, here's a good picture there. So this is the A2 BP sump receiver or bearing pan bolted to a Q deck or metal roof deck. Then we have actually the A2 BP is flipped over. You can see that the recess is up instead of down because we don't have the body into the A2 BP. Then we have the A368 ring, A368-DC ring on top of the A2 BP. We have the HS3 all-thread hardware. You can see pushing the body off the deck. Why? Because we have to get to the height of the insulation. And then the membrane will go over the flange of the A2 body. Now, this is how Zurn does it. You can see here, let me get this out of the way, that it's going from the top down, and this is right out of the Zurn catalog. You got the Zurn dome, you've got their dome receiving ring, then you have this adjustable sleeve which is threaded. Then underneath that is an O-ring that goes into a clamp ring with O-ring groove and then a gasket. So the disadvantage with this outdated design is there's two rubber gaskets in this assembly. Hot weather, cold weather, those gaskets expand and contract and can lead to a leak. And the worst fear that any of us have with a roof drain, again, is a leak on the roof. Also, the threaded extension, that adjustable sleeve, is limited to how much that can be threaded up or down. If it's not enough, you have to get another one. It's heavy, it's bulky, it's awkward. So compare that. And also at the very bottom of this blowout, look at the underdeck clamp. It's two pieces, separate. Most contractors will tell you that's a hassle. It's easier to work with one piece. The difference between their design and our design, which we're looking at now, is with our design there are no gaskets. There's no threaded adjustment. You have infinite adjustment because you have the HS3 hardware studs. If the HS3s aren't long enough, you can easily go to Home Depot, get a longer hardware rod, and go to whatever height you want. But we found that the height that we give on the HS3 is enough for most insulation applications. This is a great picture right here to show a contractor and say, are you aware that you can do an extension system with MyFab's roof drain using only these parts? Because the cost of buying the parts that you see in this photo from us versus buying the parts you see in this detail from Jazzowaz, there's a tremendous savings for the contractor to buy the roof drain extension from MyFab, not just on material cost, but in assembly and installation. Just a whole lot easier and simpler. Most contractors will say that adjustable sleeve, that threaded part, is a real hassle. I mean, it's heavy, it's awkward, it's not easy to work with. Okay, here's another one. The A2BP sump receiver is packed one piece in a piece. It's got rounded outside corners. There's slots to bolt it to the top of the deck. We just saw that in the previous slide. And there's 3 hardware packs to bolt the pan to the A2 body. We'll see a little bit more pictures on that. The benefit is you can eliminate the underdeck clamp. Why? Because we're bolting the A2 body, the A2 bearing pan, to the A2 body. When the body is bolted to the pan and the pan is shot to the deck or bolted to the deck, there's no need for an underdeck clamp. And typically underdeck clamps are installed from the underside of the roof, which is very awkward for most contractors. They prefer to do everything from the top of the roof. So others have this option to bolt the A2 bearing pan to the A2 body. With MyFab, we're the only ones that provide the hardware to do that as standard in the A2BP box. So if you don't want to bolt the body to the pan, fine, disregard the hardware. If you do, you have the ability. And again, what many contractors have told us is, if you can save me from dealing with the underdeck clamp, then you've really made me happy, because that's a lot of labor, a lot of hassle. So here's a good photo. Here what you have is the underside of the roof. You have the A2 body, and it's bolted with you can see 2 of the brackets bolting the bearing pan on the right, on the outside, to the body. So we bolted the body to the pan. The pan is fastened from the top of the deck. And there's no underdeck clamp there, no need for one. And that's the box of the A2BP sump receiver or bearing pan. Within every box is those 3 bracket hardware packs to connect the body to the pan. We're also one of the few companies, maybe the only company, I believe, that boxes the sump receivers. Our competition does not do that. Those sump receivers are loose. So, they're awkward to handle. They have sharp, square corners that can cut people. We've made it a whole lot easier to box each bearing pan. This is a really neat product, the R1810 Universal Membrane Clamp. This is on page, let's see here, in the MPB book, page 148. So the reason why people like this, and I would show this to any roofing supply wholesaler. There's obviously plumbing wholesalers that we all know. There's also roofing supply wholesalers. These are the people that have the facilities managers and others calling on them or buying from them, and they're looking to replace or repair roof drains. And here's why this is so neat. So there's a picture of the R1810 ring. When you look at the inside, you see the configuration of all these slots. That's because this will fit a Zurn, a Smith, a Wade, a Josam, a Watts, or a MyFab roof drain body. Their Z100 body, 1010 body, our A2 body. We have all these slots. So regardless of the large sump roof drain body that's in the roof, this will fit over it, and then we can bolt that ring to the body, and then our A2 plastic dome goes into this R1810 ring. This is really applicable where a roofer says, I'm doing a re-roof, I'm up there on the roof, and the clamp ring is broken or rusted or corroded. It's 30 years up there. I can get that off, but I really don't want to dig out the body because it's cast in concrete, or it's the body's fine, it's in place. I don't want to touch that and disturb the membrane up there. So in that event, just clear off the old membrane clamp. It may be gone already. Bolt this to the top of whatever body you've got, put our dome on, and away you go. So whenever we show this to people, especially contractors that focus on roof repair or school work, they really like that product. Top 10 reasons that you can sell MyFab. Roof drains. Number 10, this R1810 universal membrane clamp will bolt onto any Jazzawaz body and accept our dome. Big labor savings versus having to rip out the existing roof drain body. Number 9, the R1940, the downspout nozzles that we talked about earlier, they're available in cast 304 stainless steel for the same price as nickel bronze. What we saw earlier was a photo of our nickel bronze downspout, but our theme at MyFab is stainless steel for the same price as nickel. So whether it's a floor drain strainer, a clean out top, a floor sink top assembly, an area drain veneer, or a downspout nozzle, you can get all of those items from us in stainless steel cast 304 for the same price as nickel bronze. A great thing to promote to engineers as to why they should consider MyFab in their specs. Number 8, all of the tappings on the A1, A2, A5 bodies are pre-greased. The tappings I'm referring to there are the top of the flange where the membrane clamp bolts to the top of the body. There's 3 tappings in the top of that flange. They are pre-greased to allow for smooth threading of the bolts to bolt the ring to the top of the body. As well, on the underside of the A2 or A1 body, there are bosses with offset blind tappings, and those tappings are greased as well. And we did this because we had contractors say, often with the other guys, we're up there on the roof, it's super hot, and the bolts are just, it's a real struggle to get those bolts in. So grease them up for us. Make it easy for us to get those bolts into the threads. Siphonic roof drains. We've had some really great success with siphonic roof drains. And the key feature is the engineering support. We work with Mike Richmond in England. Many of you have worked with him in the past. Very responsive, very knowledgeable. Even though he's in England and a lot of people think, well, that's just going to be too difficult, we've had very good service from him. And we see siphonic roof drains continuing to grow. Basically, we're reducing the diameter of the pipe so that we can use smaller size pipes, smaller couplings, smaller pipe supports, and have the pipe work flat, not sloped. That can be a webinar for another day. Number 6, this refers to the narrower and deeper sump capacity, 230 cubic inches versus 178 versus Jazzawaz. So we've got greater efficiency because we're draining that water more efficiently than the other guys. Let's see, let's get number 5 here. Greater dome free area. We looked at the photos where our dome has more free area. Why? Because we're typically higher in our height. We're 7 3/4 versus 4 1/2. Number 4, we have this adjustable extension system that we saw photos of that, and that elevates the body off the deck using a bearing pan turned upside down using an A368-DC deck clamp on top of the pan, then the HS3 hardware the body off the deck. Fewer parts, no gaskets. And then the A2C3, the multi-purpose ring to receive the dome under deck clamp if you need it, and the extension ring. Number 2, the A2 BP sump receiver packed in a carton, not loose, with the hardware brackets, 3 of them, so that you can bolt that pan to the A2 body, eliminating the need for an underdeck clamp. Big labor savings, big hassle savings. And number 1, of course, for you to earn more commission dollars. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for your attention. I think I can open this up for questions. So just give us 1 second here. Okay, I think we're live. Questions?
Michael?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, Stephen.
It's Steve Lichtman. How are you? Hey,
good. How are you?
To ask, I'm good. Is this going to be available at this entire presentation on MyFabU?
Yes, sir. Yep, with the commentary.
Good. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Very
so
good.
Watch what you're saying. Stephen Lichtman right now has, I believe this is with you, Stephen, you've got a huge siphonic roof drain opportunity in Tennessee, correct?
That's right.
Can you share with everybody the dollar value that we think this potential project is?
Okay, well, throw me a rough number on a siphonic drain. I don't remember off the top of my head, Michael.
A
rough number.
We had
for
Gary
one drain.
$750.
All right, $750. Phase 1 of the 5 phases are going to use probably 400 roof drains.
So 400, and these are siphonic. 400
yeah,
times
400
750.
times whatever roughly your price is.
So that's $300,000. $300,000. Yeah, that's a big one. That's exciting.
Yeah, we're working very closely with the engineer.
Yeah, excellent.
Who has worked with MyFab Siphonics before and was very impressed with Mike.
Yeah, he really does a great job. Excellent. Thank you, Steve.
No
Any
problem,
other
Mike.
questions? Any other questions? Have a great weekend. This will be posted on MyFab University to see and to share with others. So again, thanks for your attention, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Michael.